Thank you. Okay. All right. So what are what massive gains? And the term is massive. Ruth Ann is very good at being very deliberate and very practical and pragmatic. And our job is to stretch everybody. What are the family benefits that could come? We're going to learn and execute and master this whole system. We're going to develop leaders. It really is possible. So what are your personal outcomes you want? And I just got playing around with this. Do you want personal achievement? Do you want the satisfaction of hitting that rank? Do you want to stretch beyond your limits? You know, we've all got boundaries in our brain of what we think we can do. I'm not going to judge anybody. I do. Knut said, senior director, you know, in 90 days. I was like, oh God. Now I'm like, all right, senior director in 90 days. Okay. More success breeds more success. We get this, as someone said yesterday, you get that engine rolling down the track, it's got momentum. It's going to breed more success. Do you want to increase your team's beliefs and confidence and skills? Like, what outcomes do you want? Do you want to requalify for a previous rank that you might have fallen out of? Do you want, for some people, have financial pressure lessons, grow your bank account? Do you want to have a huge team attending the convention? Do you want to qualify for next year's trip? For some people, do you want to just stop crawling? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired of playing small? Maybe it's FOMO, fear of missing out. Do you want to stop the behaviors that hold you back and create new successful behaviors? So I want to have us talk here for a minute, but I want to keep this up on the screen. But if I put it, let's see, I can put it somewhat for me and to see some of you. But just off the top of the head, take a minute and think, if we're going to work as a team for 90 days, what do you want out of it? What do you want out of it if you're married? What do you want out of it personally? What do you want for a team? Let's just jot a few down. Okay. And then jump in here.
Everyone first to jump in first.
What rank do you want to be?
By convention?
By, yeah, 90 days.
Well, I have to get to senior director before I can get to the next one. So my goal is to get to one beyond senior director by conference.
And the name of that rank would be?
I'm drawing executive director. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just drawing a big fat blank. But here's the real reason why I want to do that. We're trying to grow two teams because Bob's separate from me. So in order to add him so that we're together, I need two directors besides Bob. So I really, you know, and that's really my big goal. Let's get two other directors.
Our goal is 4 directors by conference.
Okay, put it down. We're going to have big boards.
4.
Everybody, the Hudsons they each want to be senior director and or up to executive director.
Yes.
Well, we want to join. Sorry, there's a thunderstorm going on. We want to get to 4 directors so Bob can join me, and then his volume is our volume, which helps everything. And then we're not trying to build 2 teams at once. I mean, it's harder to do that than to build 1 team. So that's the goal. In order to have him combine with me, I need to have at least 2 other directors. So our goal is to get 4 and then at least have 3. Get him to director and at least have 3 more.
Okay, you're in it for the This Is It convention. What about if we just do the stretch goal, you both are senior director by that and get into that meeting in Tampa in August for senior directors?
Yes. And the way we'll yes. Okay.
Why not? Why not?
I just got to put a caveat emperor in here. Buyer beware. Julie and I have been through this washing machine tumble dryer now with Lifeway and the compliance department. So hold fire on anything in terms of combining businesses and things like that. We are getting so much flack.
Really?
So much grief. And yeah, so hold fire on that whole conversation, please.
I thought it was a compliance issue to have two separate teams in the same address. I'm so confused.
Well, that's number one, but once you build an inside team in the number two business, you end up in all sorts of strife. Because yeah, anyway, we won't go into the details about it, but it's a real ugly mess.
Okay.
So,
I'd like to get into the details at some time, Canute, too, because we're doing that too, so.
yeah, it's beyond the scope of this conversation and this meeting. If we
Right.
stick to what we have as a goal for what you think, and remember this, guys, is that 80% of all the work and the time in the next 90 days, 91 days, or whatever, starting July 1, that is the work that doesn't seem to produce any result. But it's the last 20% of the time that gives you 80% of the results that you want.
Good point, Canute.
And it's so easy to fall down the trap. And well, I'm working so flipping hard. I'm spending 2 hours or 4 hours every single day. I got nothing to show for it. And I'm getting demoralized and demoralized and demoralized. Lift your eyes, look at the goal and say, this is going to be done. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and as leaders, as who we are, that is our internal belief. Because I can promise you one thing is that the only reason why we aren't where we want to be is that we're sitting in our comfort zone. And we're sitting in our comfort zone and nothing changes.
Yep.
Very true.
Very-
One thing that's also important to me is to get as many people on our team to conference and also across the stage. Because that last year was just so inspiring, you know, to see team members, not our team members, but other team members go across the stage. So yeah, that's a big important part.
Bob?
I agree with her. It's just, you know, we're working hard to make sure that the August event happens, you know. So at least one of us is in that room.
Is that the merit event?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys have on your calendar the Tennessee Merit event.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Awesome.
talking senior director, aren't you? The senior director meeting. Is that what you mean specifically?
Talking
Talking
about the
about
senior
this
director.
is it conference.
This
Yeah.
is-
Oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Aren't they also doing a meeting somewhere in your?
They
neighborhood?
are Tuesday night, like no advance warning.
No advance warning. It's just. they
Trying to get people to come with us.
Okay,
So we're gonna do that first, and then, you know, the August event is our big push, because, you know, in order to coast into October, which, you know, we don't want to, it's a 90-day challenge. We're just gonna, that's just one stepping stone to continue on.
correct. Great. Okay, the girls here in Houston, what about you guys? Jump in. What goals, outcomes?
I want 2 directors. Are we on mute? No. I want 2 directors under me by convention, and I want to go to senior director, which is much lower site than Janet has.
Great.
But I would be very happy with that.
Barbara?
Okay, so I'm trying to get my logical mind out of the way.
I feel you.
The
Pardon me.
minimum-
CJ, will you close the door in there? Because I'm hearing you guys out here. Thank you. Okay,
Okay, so the minimum I want is senior director by August for the This Is It convention. But I really want executive director by then, which my volume is only 40,000. So I have to have 100,000.
no, you have 50.
Yeah, I only have to have 50. Okay, so I want to definitely be executive director by then. But I want to be presidential by the conference in October.
Way to go, non-logical mind.
Hmm.
CJ,
Okay, well, I just got back.
had you guys seen them frozen or am I just frozen?
Yeah, they're frozen.
They're frozen. Not sure what to say. Okay, let's jump out of you guys for a minute. We'll come back. Because you're frozen. Rainey?
Okay. I just went through his, the video, and I hadn't really jotted down the goals yet, but for sure it's team growth. And I think I just had a gal, it's my first manager, that just happened last night. So that's on one team, so I will.
Awesome.
Well done.
It's
Yay, Rainey.
so refreshing to have somebody who wants to do this instead
Right.
of IT. Oh my God. Anyway,
Girls, we'll get back to you. You've unfrozen. Go ahead, Rainey.
We all know the feeling.
thanks, Julie. Yeah, so hence one lake has got a manager and the other needs one. So there's really, I don't know if there's really anybody over there. So that's just kind of a big job, but I guess that's the next baby step is I've got to be director. So I need another manager on my way. So
Perfect.
that's it.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it'll be easier the second time. You know what it looks like now.
Well, I know what type of a person it needs to be, and I don't know if I have that person yet. So
90 days.
Rainey, by the way, we don't have half of the people we need yet.
okay, well,
So don't even feel bad.
And one thing I've learned is just because I think they look like it doesn't mean that they are, and the ones that the opposite, surprise me. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, yep,
Very
that's
true.
it for me.
Jerry.
Kind of on the same track as Janet and Bob, I want to do executive by the convention. My main goal here is I have 3 people that are trying, and so I'm working with them a lot. I have a brand partner that wants to be director by the convention. So that's a big step. So we're working on that. And another one that's not too far. So obviously I want to get the three directors in there. They're in and out and getting close. So that's mainly, trying to find the people that understand, maybe that's the word, understand what this could do for them. If they would really take a look, because really, how many people does everybody know? I mean, I was at church today, and normally, they kind of shy away, and I had these people coming up today, and been working with this one lady, it's 88, had a pig valve replacement, and now she's back in. It's a long thing. She wouldn't tell her kids, and her son is there, and she didn't want to tell him. I finally went over and talked to him. He couldn't believe that the mother. So, he wants in now because of the wife who has rheumatoid arthritis. So they're out there, but we just have to say the right things that they're going to listen. That's all I can think of.
Okay, so put that down. You got more of that. That's
well
great.
done.
Girls, ladies, we got Barbara and CJ. I guess it's your turn.
Well, I started, but anyhow, yesterday, thank you, Canute, I want to say, because you helped me with my person that's in the Houston area, Gloria, and she is starting to reignite. And she brought 3 people yesterday. And then we are staying over so that we can go to dinner with her tonight, and she's going to have another group of people. So that has fired up. And I think she understood your analogy of the piquing the interest and the fishing and getting a nibble and getting a nibble. So thank you for that. So yes, my next step is director, and then trying to reignite my people underneath me that have kind of gone astray.
Okay, but what's your little bit of a stretch goal?
Well, at
What
the
are you?
moment
That
for
looks so
me,
funny.
the moment for me, it's director.
Okay.
So
So,
that's an easy goal. Okay, stretch it. Go
so executive director by October.
Oh, that's a good stretch.
That's a super stretch. That's a super stretch.
Yep. Yep.
Just stretching for a living, doesn't she?
Yes. Yes, she does. Good, Julie. Good. Jules, tell us what you've got.
I'm a structure girl. I'm like looking at 6 directors. I want by this is it, I guess. 10 managers each leg, firing, active, maybe more. I mean, Knut might throw me out for this, but maybe more than that, you know, from the size of our business, I guess. And I was thinking executives our next level. So it's really dependent on how many people we can bring through with that. I mean, we can want it all we want, but we've got to bring people through, and we're going to help people. So presidential for a convention is a stretch. Do you want to add something to that, Knut?
No, I'm good with that. We have some logistical issues to deal with LifeWave first, so we know where we are structure-wise. So
Okay, so put that on the list. Everything's resolved with LifeWave, and you're now perfectly aligned. Get that on the list.
I will say I've learned a lot through this last 2 months with this issue with Knut, with what he was talking about before. I have learned a lot about some things maybe I didn't focus as heavily on that I should have. So it's a good learning journey. We don't wish it upon anyone, but it's it's been pretty good. I think it's going to be better for our business in the long run. Sort of highlighted a few things that didn't really look at before. So
if
Right.
I can interject on that, and I know we're talking about the 90 days and so forth, and I don't know whether you have it in here, Janet, but I'm going to mention one word, and you can say it comes later. Depth.
Depth?
Depth.
Oh, depth. Okay, yeah. Put depth down there. Absolutely goal.
well,
We
that's
have it in the part of the slide deck today.
Yeah, definitely.
You have it at the part of the deck today.
No, but I'll tell you why and where we're going today. But depth is definitely part coming. Absolutely. Everybody, you heard Julie go, I want 10 over here and 10 over here and blah, blah, blah here. We're going to map like that. That's what Knut's talking about. What's the depth very explicitly? What are the numbers in different ways? So you really have a game plan, okay? And she just described it. So we're going to get there. Yeah, very much so. Okay, jot it down now. We're gonna have more stuff come up, you guys. This is a 3-month campaign. We're gonna really learn, as Julie said. All right, so as Eric says, commitment, just make the decision. I really feel now is the time. I really feel if we do this for 90 days, come hell and high water, and scream and yell and then celebrate and and okay, we got that one. It's going to be a ride. But remember what David Schmidt, yes, said in Aruba, 2024 is their 20th anniversary. It's going to be a big year. If we do this now, and we're going to show you how we'll close out the year too, we're going to go into 2024 on fire. It's going to be great. So I really think we have the experience to be successful. We have the skills. Now we've got the structure. We've got the 3-3-1 system. We've got the team. I don't think you can do this on your own, you guys. That's why I never did it. I was like, how do you do these things? So first person you have to recruit is recruit you. Are you really willing to invest in yourself? Because that's really who you're investing in. You're investing in you're working as couples, Janet and Bob and Julie and Knut, and Jerry and Glenn, or CJ and her husband, right? You're investing in this. So there are going to be some sacrifices. Now, I don't think you have to go off the deep end like Eric worries, like, you put on a monk suit and you never talk to anybody, but in your family. But really say, what is my commitment to this? So it's open yet. All right. So Eric talks about the preparation. Define the goals, identify the target, identify your inner circle, create a pre-launch game plan, create your story, get your family support, right? And I don't think it has to be sequential. All these things are going to come into play. So I wanted to talk in there. I want us to figure out what are the metrics on our goals. What are those metrics to know if we're successful? So Julie just described like 20 new brand partners in each binary leg or whatever. Okay, so take a moment. We're going to play around. You're going to get these defined for you. But how many people do, if Barbara wants to be executive director, she's got to drill down. What are those metrics? The number of people ranked up, how much volume, right? You ranked up. I think all of us want that depth for massive duplication. How many people do you want to qualify for the trip? So it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable. And I'd really like us, I'm going to stop here. Let's play around with these. I want us to also celebrate it as we hit some of these. Yes, we want to get to the end goal, but do you know your personal global volume unilevel number?
Yeah.
Do you know how to find it? Okay, that's a really key metric. I won't get on here now. You go to your back office. Today's a good day to do it because it's Sunday. You click on your, the circle, what does it say? Your rank up. And when you click right under it, it'll say,
Volume.
what does it say right under it, you guys? The blue line, you click on it, rank advancement. I think that's what it says. Okay. If you click on rank advancement, you'll have today's rank, but click the little blue arrow next to it and click, if you're at director, click senior director. If you're at manager, click director, and it gives you the criteria. Well, one of them down there is your personal global volume, except for it may not be at manager, CJ. It may be at director and above. Okay, so if Rainey, you can't see it, we'll help you guys, okay? But you need to know that number. Like Barbara knows she's at 40,000, she needs 50. I'm literally right now about 75 points today, which should happen, of regaining presidential at 100,000. It's been up and down this whole 6 months. So my goal is solid on the way to senior presidential. But let's get those numbers. Do you know how many people you have on your team total? Customers and brand partners. Do you know how to find that? Okay, Rainey's up and down, good. Okay, so start with your metrics. How are you going to know if you're successful? Right, Barbara was a couple hours ago in her back office helping a couple people really look at these, trying to hit manager today. So you need to get these key metrics under your belt. So how will you know you're successful? Let's just open it up. Janet, you're smiling.
I'm just cracking up at my husband.
So remember, guys, we all have a number of people in the various teams, personally introduced and then through line. And that's what gives us that GVU number. Part of what we probably should do as a first step on all of this is to revisit the ones that haven't actually ordered something for a while.
Okay.
Just so you can get them back on a subscription modus. I personally detest the word ordership. I've changed it. I'm starting using subscription because everybody has a subscription to something. You have a subscription to your AT&T cell phone. You have a subscription for Comcast or whatever. So, but that's just me. Point I'm trying to say is that let's see if we can reactivate some of these guys that had reasonably good results but went off. You might you might be looking at 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 points just there, and you get that on a subscription model, and now it probably starts counting already towards and preparing you for next year's trip.
Okay, so pause for a second. We're already getting down to the more specifics. So start writing them, because in your game plan, Knut's right. Whose needs to go on subscription? We're going to have all these little categories. It isn't just 331 in this game plan. We're going to take you through some others. That's a perfect one, Knut.
And it all lines up really well, I find, with the subscriptions, because I've got that view for the trip already, right? Since we went last year, I'm like, okay. So with the 331, you're doing the sampling and stuff, and the goal is to get them onto the subscription to second month or third month or what have you. But yeah, I have a metric for how many I need for the trip now that I think I need. I mean, it's a lot of points, but if they're all on the subscription / auto ship, that helps a lot with points. and keep maintaining your rank as well. So you get the points for that. And then also the upgrades.
Very, very true.
I
So-
didn't pay attention to the trip the first time around, what you needed, although Barbara, did get it. And the second one we had, do you think, was it the same, the first and second? Is the third going to be?
We don't know, but let me rephrase this for everyone. Okay, it's not so much what you're focusing on for the trip. Yes, the trip is nice. But until you get the foundation in place, that concrete slab, you can't build a skyscraper on a shifty sand. You can't build a skyscraper on 4 inches of concrete. So I was listening to Steve and Gina Merritt the other day, yesterday, coming back from Houston. And he basically goes, as you build this out, what you really, 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 really want is to have anywhere between, say, 6 to 12 active managers in each team. And you want to have 3 to 6 active directors in each team. Because at that moment in time, you will never, ever, ever fall out of someone not being an active manager in a leg, because you can go from being a senior presidential director to a manager in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's stunning how fast.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Can you say it
that-
again,
that-
please?
say what?
Say it again, the numbers. How
Okay.
many?
6 to 12 active managers on each team. So they are personally introduced managers. And then you would like to have 3 to 6 active directors in each team.
That's.
You'll never have to worry about
No.
holding where you are. You will never ever have to holding where you are. Janet, you're waving.
I am. Are you talking about on each leg or on each?
Yeah.
Okay, just clarifying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take responsibility for each leg. Now, the reason why I asked Janet a little bit earlier about this whole depth thing, and I'm hearing and I'm seeing in myself something that I think it's maybe I call it a general weakness in me, is that yes, I have someone in, but I'm not prepared to take that. Let's say I'm 50-50, it's like a seesaw. I'm sitting just on the middle, and I don't want to push too much, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. And for me to be pushy, I have to go 60-40 at least. But 60-40 meaning, hey, who do you know that have got stem cells that might want to have some help? Can we get someone on a Zoom? Can we get someone in your living room? Because until we can actually, yes, we can help someone go manager, but unless we solidify that manager with their own manager beneath. So if I was introduced Janet, should I be so lucky, and Janet introduces Jan and Bob, now Janet goes manager, but my job would be to help Janet learn how to get Janet and Bob to be manager. So we are in depth, we're drilling down, because otherwise it gets a long road to hoe where we have to personally introduce every single manager because we're not getting duplication.
Okay, stop there. It's huge. Underline, I want to pull it apart. We're already getting deep down into the plan, but Knut really brings up a good thing. I really liked your teeter-totter, because for some of you, a goal is to get out of your head that you're being pushy. So he did a wonderful thing, 50-50's level, nothing's happening. Where's my level? And some people are like, well, 60-40, maybe I could kind of do that. People think it's like 90-10, but start thinking maybe one of your goals is to change your behaviors like that you're going to say, oh, 60, wonder if someone hadn't called me and been a little pushy, right? So Knut, we're going to go deep into all that stuff. Can you hold it for a second though? But let's capture it in and out. Any comments right there? Does it make sense? Think of those behaviors that get us caught. It's really important. Comments, thoughts? You guys, okay? We can jump back in. We're going to be doing a lot of brainstorming, seriously, through this whole thing and adjusting. So again, this brought up depth. We're going to go into tap rooting on this thing. We're going to go into all those behaviors to get down in there, right? But you got to start with how do you know if you were successful? September 30th, who can you high five? We all high five each other. Where were we successful? We're going to fall in holes, okay? And our job is to pull each other out. All right. All right. What I loved about Eric's plan that I never had was he said, you always focus your 90 days on a big event. I never knew that. And I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect time. We have the national event at the end of the days, right? So as he says, it's the glue. So before we go to all the things we're going to have happen in 90 days, stop here, put yourself in convention. Some of you haven't been, most of us have. Put yourself there for a minute. You know the effects of it. You know how we will explode out of there. Janet said, oh my gosh, watching everybody go across stage. Janet, you and I didn't know that before we went, did we? Jerry, Barbara, no, like we hadn't thought of that. And at the end, we're like, oh my gosh, this was so powerful, right? All right, keeps everyone's eye on the ball. What are you doing? We're pushing all the way through 90 days because of this event. If we do this, our teams are going to explode, you guys. So how many attendees will our team get in the door, not just registered, in the door for convention? Okay, think about it. We've got people registered right now. We'll figure out where we're starting from. But put yourself there in October. See people walking through the door. You're high-fiving them, high-fiving them, high-fiving them. How many people do we want from our team? Rainey, don't go just you. It's all these managers, all these people out there, okay? How many people can we declare are going to be in that room from our team? Okay, Bob, wild ass, go for it.
15.
15?
15.
For the whole team, honey, not us. 100.
Okay, so they're placing their bet on the craps table. They got 100. Okay, Jerry.
Hang on, if I might specify, may I interject? Look at your personal team and down. Whom can you get alongside and invite? Now remember, if it's only one person building the team, get their partner to come along. Because number one, it's a buy-in to what's happening. But strategically, look at your two teams. Look at who is close to a goal. Look at who you can reach out to and go, hey, you're so close. And one thing that I learned in my early days is that someone gave me a picture from National Convention in that company. And they should go, you'd find someone who kind of look like you, cut your head out of a picture and stick it on that.
Good
and stick
idea.
it on the wall. And
Exactly.
now you're standing on that stage and you're looking into the audience. How do you feel?
Yeah.
And if you have now a team of 10, 15, 20, 30 people in your downline team with you, then you suddenly go, okay, now I'm getting the width and the breadth of what we can do this thing. So I'm putting
Perfect.
that in your mind.
Perfect. So, okay, Ruth Ann, come on in camera for a sec. Ruth Ann's been working hard here. Houston's an incredible gold mine. We're still working here, but she's, her team's kind of like, eh. So Ruth Ann, what'd you say the other day? Because she went very practical, like, how am I going to do this?
We just lost you. There we go. Oh, wait a second. Okay. All right.
We
what's
can
the
hear
question?
you.
Okay, what's the question again?
Okay, so remember we're talking about you're already going to convention. Okay, I'm going to, before she gives her number, slight caveat. We go to I came down a couple weeks ago and she and I went to the Steve Merritt event here. And when Ruth Ann walked in the door, she was like, I don't want this rah-rah thing, but I'm here. Well, over the course of it, she was like, oh, I kind of like Steve. I kind of like how this is. They bring out the This Is It convention application. She's like, no way. Like, no way. We get home, we talk, we get the next day, we're doing our planning for there. She goes, well, maybe I'll go. She's now enrolled and going, and we have a hotel. Okay. So when she went Saturday to the event, she didn't even know about it. And by the end of that day was not going. By the next day, she's enrolled. All right. So we say she's got a small team. She's like, I don't know how to get them all there yet. Okay. But you declare it. So Ruth Ann, what are you going to declare?
4.
4?
Was that a
Okay.
croak in your voice?
I thought you were talking about for the
You can have
whole.
virtuals as well.
Yeah.
Hey,
Janet,
Janet,
hold on to 100. Hold on to 100. Don't go away from that. Okay. 4. All right, Jerry.
Well, since I was doing all the charts and everything, and our group had, I think, 42 last year, so why can't we go for 150 to 200? If we're still gonna hang on to the excitement that we left with last year and, beef it up to everybody. I
So
have more more going than last time, so.
when you tell people and they go, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I have time. Jerry fractured her pelvis in 2 places, all of 4 weeks beforehand, and was there with a walker. None of us actually thought she would get there. So when they tell you, oh, you go, okay, let me tell you about the woman who fractured her pelvis and was still there. Okay. All right. So Barbara.
Okay, so I'm a little confused because last year we had 35 on my team, and that included Janet and Bob and several of their team members. And so if they're doing 100, and I take that out of the equation, then what's left? So I know I already have maybe 10 signed up. If, to go back to Eric's video, and if I can envision everybody playing their part and bringing people, how about another 200 plus Janet and Bob's 100? Not counting their part of the downline. Going to Orlando in October.
Ruth Ann just went.
Ruth Ann, your face is worth a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we had last year, we hadn't been in very long,
No?
really. And, we didn't have, I don't know if we had anyone go. Did we,
I don't
Canute?
think so. No,
We had a few virtuals though.
yes.
Yeah.
And this year it's a different story,
Yeah, virtuals
Different
will
story.
count, but let's do in
Yeah.
person now. Okay, Rainey.
Then I'm gonna up my number to 14. Yeah, we had quite a few virtuals last year, so,
No, virtuals don't count in this.
oh, I thought you said we were gonna count them now.
No, let's keep with 14.
So that's 14 in person. No, it's 4.
I'm remaining on
Rainey.
100 in person.
Rainey.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm a little blown away. I have never been to conference, and I just had my first manager. I'm a little overwhelmed with those numbers, to be honest.
Okay, hold that. Perfect. Okay, because all of this process, everybody at some part's going to go, I'm overwhelmed. Okay.
Now,
Well, yeah.
Canute was in Houston yesterday, Rainey. He might have some good news for you. Maybe.
Well,
What-
I contacted 30 to 40 people and 2 went.
No, there were more than that.
There were more than that.
It was Dr. Nori and it was Renee. And Shelley had her own team there. Shelley had her team.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm with you.
So
They
we'll
weren't
see.
all mine.
Okay,
Fine.
all right, let's not sidetrack, but
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
not sidetrack.
overwhelm is absolutely okay. All right. All right. CJ, how many people?
Okay, not to get into the deep dark sea of what's going on in my world, but I may be closing down my spa, and Barbara knows about this, and that may be that week I start moving out. And so next week I am negotiating with management. They're going to come in and talk to me. Long story. So I'm not registered to go right now because I may be in transition of trying to figure out where the heck I'm going. So
Okay, so can we hold for you that you're there, that somehow it all opens up?
that it could shift. It could shift. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, let's just hold that.
That's
Right.
just TMI.
It's
Right.
it's kind of interesting. I learned a phrase many years ago, and it was, "Can I make an unreasonable request?" And just see what happens. Because I have a big conflict. I have to be there as an unreasonable request. Can we move it 1 week either way, or whatever? But just think of it that way, because Tony Robbins once upon a time said, he says, what did he say? Not that I can't, but how can I? And that rings true forever and a day. When you open up your mind, your subconscious mind, to say, how can I? Your genius in your own body, in your subconscious mind, will start to work, and you start dreaming, and you will start, things will open up.
Oh, yeah.
Well
So if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So they wanted to do emails with me back and forth and talk to me. And I said, please, I've been here 5 years. I need a face-to-face conversation with someone about my lease space. And
Right.
so my husband said, just be strong, just talk to them face-to-face, tell them what you can do, because they have some empty spaces in my building, and go from there. And so you don't ask, the answer is no. So I'm gonna ask.
Mhm.
So we're
There's
gonna
a
figure it
theme,
out.
there's a theme right there. We're gonna ask on all these people. Thank you, CJ. Okay, Bob.
Okay, real quick, short story. Janet found out, we had registered for another conference or convention. We found out in between, just 2 weeks before, basically, that she had cancer and had to have operation. We put it in our mind that we are still going to convention. We are going to act like nothing else is going to go on. There's nothing we can do other than put our hearts into what we think is more important. I mean, Janet was important. It's just, I'm just saying, we got to that point where it's like, nothing's going to change. The world could collapse tomorrow, but we're still going to convention. And we actually went to convention. Worked out great, because she ended up not having as bad a cancer, but we didn't know.
Mhm.
And our kids were like, don't go, get an operation now. It's like, no, there's sometimes you just got to step back, do the things is what is in your heart, and then go from there. I'm not saying.
We wanted to be in the positive space of that convention.
Right.
Delaying my surgery 2 weeks wasn't gonna make a difference either way, but we still wanted to be in that positive space.
But
to
it's
be with
the
all-
fact
Well,
that was-
because we're all family now. So in this other organization, I had a lot of family, and I wanted to have their love and not attention, but their
love.
their
yeah.
love.
Caring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another good point. That's what happens at convention for sure, really. Okay, so notice we've got numbers, but notice how all of you went to your left brain. What's the right number? What's logical? Could we do this? That's how we make decisions, we think. All right. Barbara declared an outrageous number. I want to say 500 total team. It's going to break out a bunch of different ways, but what is there? There's 7 of us. No, 7. No, there's 9 of us on here, and we don't have Kemi and Rosemary. They'll be part of this. So what have we got? 11. So somebody do the math that's good at math. Break down 500 by 11.
About 45.
45. Okay, 45 across your people, okay? So if we break that down, 45, and you had, is it 9 goes, God, my math is so bad. Is that 5 people each? What have we got? If you had 9 people on your team, 10 people on your team to work in this, because we're going to talk now about your inner circle. So just break that number down. So let's right now just declare somehow each of us are responsible for 45. It's a stretch. If we get 332, is that a win? Absolutely. But it was better than 14, right? So let's just put it out there. Let's see what happens. I mean, I think about every NFL team starts the fall and goes, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl. And then half of them are injured. And then they lost this game. And then they work their tails off. And then they have to go in the playoffs when they're in the worst shape possible. And they have to get through that. Okay. So let's just believe we're going to the Super Bowl. Okay. You guys start with belief. All right. So I'm talking through this. We're all sharing because you have to enroll your team in this vision. Okay. All right. So identify your inner circle is one of Eric's things. We're the leadership team, right? But on your team, you've got you. Go figure out do you have any directors? Who's managers you got? Who's soon to be managers? Who's out of rank people? Do you have any fast moving new brand partners? I have this fast moving manager that made manager in 5 days. He drove 3 hours yesterday to get to the event. He's so far doing all the right things. So I'm going to bring him into the group I'm working with, right? He's a very motivated brand partner. So let's put out, you go, I don't have any motivated brand partners. Okay, on our list are 5 to 10 new motivated brand partners, right? But you got to pull apart who's your inner circle. What else should be on here?
What about, the Eric Worre video was really about bringing in people that are not currently on your team.
Oh, of course, that's going to be part of us. We're going to do 3-3-1 and recruit. But this is,
you said who's not on here? They aren't on here.
okay, but this is your inner circle first to start in pre-launch.
Yeah, but I want a big inner circle that's all new people too, that are part of it.
Okay, put that over in your next goal then. Okay.
There's a certain value to that. But remember, each one of us only have a finite amount of hours.
I know.
So with that in mind, bearing in mind that you need to then reshape your targeting mechanism for the people that you're looking for. Are you looking for people who are generally, they like the patches, and then it's like pushing a snowball uphill to get them to manager, and then they have no duplication? Or are you looking for someone who's been in network marketing before? Because they will understand the value of having a meeting or a conference. They do understand that. And
That's my plan.
it depends on what your antennas are saying and going, I am going, oh, there's not a network marketing person. And okay, you might strike out on 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, but are you going to be terribly upset if someone comes through and builds a manager or directorship in 3 weeks? I don't think so.
Yeah, like this guy, Fred, he wants to build to director right now. I've never had one move so fast. Okay. All right. Pull this apart further. Barbara wants a whole new set of people. I agree. But go dig down. Who do you have in your inner circle? Because we just said, how many people are we going to get to convention? So number one, are they registered for convention? That's one of your goals, right? So before we go looking for a bunch of new people, have we worked through all of our personal enrollments and talked to them about going to convention? Probably not. I haven't. Okay. So have you talked about, would they re-engage if they were a former manager or former director? What would it take for them to re-engage? We're going to go deeper into this launch plan, you guys. But Eric really talks about, let me tell you, it's about the story. Barbara, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I've completely recommitted to this business. I have this vision. I'm going to be bringing 45 people to the convention. I'm going to be helping people. I'm going to have 6 new directors. Think of Julie's goals, right? We're going to create a story that enrolls them and engages them. Now, this is what I expect. I'm going to earn an income. This is what I expect is going to happen by next year. Hey, do you want to come with me? We're going to have a story about this. So you've got to find your people that are not as engaged. Can we get them first to convention? Go ahead, Knut.
I in my past, and I'm now coming into that 60-40 role of mine. I said, okay, guys, can you pull out your calendar, please? What are you doing in the middle of October that weekend, 12, 13, 14? You got anything on? You have? Okay. Is it possible to shift it? Oh, you think you can? Great. Tell you what, we have the national convention in Lifeway coming up. You just got to be there. You want to see the new products. You want to see the feeling of the size of this business and how it's growing. I'm speaking to you as a potential business owner. You told me you wanted extra income. Hey, this is the fastest place for you to rip the Band-Aid off, get off the learner plates, and get on to actually building something that is growing at a rapid rate of knots. You just got to be there.
So imagine Knut's doing that with the person, and now he says, let me put on one of us that went to convention. Let me get Jerry on this call with you and hear about her and hear about what it took for her to get there, to move heaven and earth. You can do three-way calls around that. Let the other person cast the vision. Tell them what it was like tangibly, how great the banquet was. Oh my gosh, these awards we have. You guys, we might want to, like those of us who got awards, take a picture holding your award, use it, okay? That, you know, we didn't, all of us went, these are gorgeous. Like, you know, we didn't know what they were, right? It was so heavy, I had to repack to get home. But use your three-way calls. But the point is, identifying your inner circle, according to Eric, is who's going to run with you? Who's going to run with you? Barbara, I know we're going to build more. That's coming. But who's going to run? So CJ's on here today. Ruth Ann's on here today. Jerry's been building and building with me ever since the beginning, like Barbara. We've got who's on your inner circle. And even if you've just got one, it's okay. Let's keep going. So start here and identify. And once we'll have this recording, we're going to have more planning. You're going to take them through the pre-launch plan. You're going to talk them through. You're going to help them out of the, oh, I can't do that. That's kind of really hard. I've never done this. You know, what's going on in their head, right? Julie, you know this. You know this stuff, right? Okay, so let's go. I'm going to send these slides to you guys, okay? Because we have to do actually more, really a deep dive on the pre-launch plan. But this is kind of just my first shot at looking at what does the timeline look like. Okay, focus on Orlando. Knut just had a perfect idea. Have a calendar. Tell them, get out your calendar. What's going on in October? Most people will say, I can't go just because they haven't thought that far in the future. I don't know what we're doing. Okay, so start there. We're going to have 500 people there, or our best shot. Okay, all right, starting way at the far left, we've got to do some pre-launch work that's coming up this week, your goals, your story, all the things we're going to do. I put a kind of basic bullet points under each month, and we'll craft them. But you want to have your daily goals. You want to have your team goals. I personally think we should have a Telegram group, a 90-day challenge Telegram group just for the leaders. And we're checking in maybe 3 times a week. Julie's been really posting, so's Velvet, for God's sakes. She's like, I signed up 3 silver and 2 golds.
She's renewed, isn't she?
Yeah.
Regenerated and renewed.
Totally. So she's probably going to be on Barbara's inner circle, right? Okay.
yeah.
So we've got, I think we got to make time, even if it's 15 minutes, you guys. How you doing? How you doing? All right. We got to track our convention enrollments. So go back and figure out who's enrolled, to be honest. We got to do the daily 3 through 1 for sure. Okay. Can you have some home parties? Are you getting duplication? And do you really understand? Are you getting duplication? Is someone in your team really doing 3-3-1? Look at that. That's where you've got to pay attention. That's where you're going to get the lift. Okay. We've got the weekly trainings starting tomorrow night. The calendar's up. I'll bring it back around. All right. Costa Mesa. I think I blew it. Rainey, is Costa Mesa in July or August?
August 19th. But there's,
Okay.
it's still TBA on the location and time and all that.
Okay, hold on a sec here. I want to,
I'll be right back.
yeah, go ahead. Hold on here. I screwed up trying to get out of, I want to adjust this a second. All right, so the Costa Mesa is at exact weekend of the This Is It.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. 18th, 19th, 18th, Rainey.
19.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So.
Not mentioning that one.
All right.
I would have come over for that one, Rainey. That's right, when This Is It. So
Yeah.
the next time I'm gonna come over, but just not that one, unfortunately. I would have come to help.
Yeah. It just seems the law of the universe that the same things happen on the same day.
Yeah, it's right, the same day, yeah.
Opposite coast, so it shouldn't, you know. I
Right.
don't think a lot of people from this coast will go to This Is It.
Okay. No, but they talked about it on the Evolve team yesterday, that they're planning that event. They're getting geared up for it. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting, Janet. It'll be interesting to see who shows up at Costa Mesa with the This Is It going to Florida.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not Marcy's team running This Is It though. It's
Okay,
Onyx.
so she'll
It's
probably be
Onyx's.
here.
Yeah,
I
it's
got
Onyx and
feedback.
Merritt.
From people on Marcy, by the way, from yesterday.
What, sorry?
I got feedback from about Marcy from people, but whatever.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Go back to July. We've got to really work on inviting you guys. We've got to get people to our weekly trainings. That's why we're putting out the effort. We had them scattered, go to this place, that place. And I think Julian Canute said, you know, everyone's getting so confused. Let's just, for this next 90 days, and it'll probably keep going, but let's do our own. Let's just wrap people into our brand. Okay. I think at the end of July, we have a scoreboard. Okay. Across all our metrics, how are we doing? You know, and I want us to celebrate. I think you go, whoo-hoo, I got a new manager. Let's celebrate it all the way through, right? Hey, I've got 4 new people. I think Ruth Ann's going to be surprised how many people she gets to convention. All right, July.
Rank them
we're
up,
doing
rank
the
them
same-
up to manager and they get some money and everything changes.
July, or August, we're doing the same thing, but we've got Costa Mesa and This Is It. Now, I want to put out, and I'm really open to people, but yesterday when I was standing on stage next to Bob Campbell and the Evolve team, we got chatting and listening to his story, and now he's SPD. I said, Bob, we're doing a 90-day challenge. Would you ever come on a webinar and talk to our group? And he said, oh, I'd love to.
Oh, yay.
So-
Well done.
Yay. So I think let's sprinkle in July and in September. Julian Canute, anybody, let's figure out who we could get that just helps us go further, okay?
Oh my God, I
So-
know some ladies in my team that would love to see him there. Like, but you know, it's all relative who they relate to. So yeah.
Yeah, that woman, Wendy, I don't know Wendy's last name, but we all really liked her. I think she
Wendy
would be good.
Morgan.
Thank you. Okay. And celebrate. Let's celebrate that we fell in the ditch and got back out of it, you know? So September comes into though, okay, it's all out massive action. Where are we lagging? Let's say we've got 223 enrollments and we're like, come on, what can we do? Let's go. You know, we can push on different things and help each other, do a blitz day, right? So there's webinar, I put Wendy Access Morgan. September 30th is a Saturday, but I think Canute's right. It's absolutely a logical cutoff date. They've got to make the awards for convention with your name on them. This is flexible though, you guys. I'm just starting. Now, Eric brings up a really good point. You go from event to event to event. So we're going to focus on October. Coming out of it, don't worry about it now. But we sat down last year after the convention and said, okay, how do we push through to the end of the year? We had a plan. So I talked with Garrett yesterday, corralled him. I said, Garrett, we'd really like to know the incentive qualifications for the trip. He goes, well, they really want to, and, launch it at convention and videos and big hurrah. And I said, okay, then you can't have the deadline December 31st. You can't. No one will win. No one will fail, failure. He goes, yeah, we're thinking probably Orlando and then November, December, January. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say they do. January is a time when people come back in and want to get healthy. That's when they go back to the gym. They make all the New Year's resolutions. That might work in our favor, just so long as we're not trying to cram this in 6 weeks, right? So we also have Black Friday. That's the last big volume push for the whole year. So I want us to be ahead of the game. If you absolutely cannot do anything through Thanksgiving, we understand. We'll help whatever you need help, because that's the day everybody goes shopping. And it goes, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, so we got to plan on that. But if we go through the incentive into January, February, and we do this 90 days, and we have all these people from convention, they're going to just jam to go to the incentive trip come the first of the year, if we've got more time. So I think us committing to July, August, and September are going to have a whole lot of effects. And none of us know how, you guys. We're just a team. And it's like someone said once to me, okay, Julie and Canute in Tallahassee, and we got a bunch of us in Houston, and Bob and Jan are sitting in Tennessee, and Rainey's like, I'm way out in California, right? Jerry's down in South or mid Florida. Okay, everybody has to get to the Empire State Building in New York by Orlando timeframe in your head. And you go, okay, we have to be at the Empire State Building. How are you going to get there? Bob, what would you say? How would you get there? You're on mute.
I would drive.
Okay, so if you were to drive, what decisions do you make?
Where I'm gonna stop to see what relative. And then how many Bucky's are in between here in New York?
Yes, that's key.
And do I want to have an actual Philly sub, or do I want to, Philly steak sub, or do I want to just go to the Big Apple and have a Big Apple?
Bob's about the food on the way. Okay. All right. So then Jerry's.
Hang on. Let's change the equation for a second. Bob, you're going to go from wherever you are now. You're going to need to be New York Empire State Building, and there's $150,000 waiting for you in cash.
Well,
You get that.
He's not stopping at Buc-ee's.
That's what I'm talking about. It changes your focus.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We may stop at a relative's house along the way, so we don't have to pay for a hotel, because it's a long trip from Tennessee.
I
to
just
New
keep
York.
driving.
Anyway, there's a reason. Hang on, guys. There's a reason why I mentioned this, and I jumped in, and I'm sorry that I did. And
No, that's good.
okay, I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to be kind of surprised, I think, because I've been experimenting a little bit.
And I go really fast.
Okay, so this top part of the screen here.
Can you make it larger, sir?
Yes, coming up.
64-year-old Oz here, Canute.
Going.
Okay, can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay, so I literally typed in the top part here. That's what I typed in. And down the bottom, this here, I'm going to blow it up.
He's taking a picture. Can hear the
Take
click.
pictures, everybody.
I'm taking a picture.
Yeah.
This here is from ChatGPT.
What I thought you were going to say.
I threw this in at the bucket in the
I'm
top,
we're opening our mind to all this other stuff we haven't been using.
and
See?
this is what came out.
Great. Oh my God, you use ChatGPT. That's great.
Right? So what is the constriction? What is the restriction? What is the limitation in your own mind where you need to change, or I need to change in my respect? How do I need to change my approach? What do I expect when I'm out there meeting people?
You can ask Oh,
This
sorry.
sign here, down here, it really struck me. This individual. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
And I got to have the energy in me. So, for example, the presentation tomorrow, if I'm running it, I'm going to be standing in front of a big ass TV. I ain't going to be sitting in a chair because I've got to have the energy. What is your energy level? Can you crank it up 10%, 20%, 25%, 30%? You don't have to be a Steve Merritt or a Knut. But attraction is out there, and we need to have those little antennas up for who we're looking for.
yep.
And you will find people who just love going to conferences. Have that in your mind.
We've got a couple of people it's in our team, and that's what they love doing, going to conferences. But they don't have any network marketing experience, so we just got to find the two gel, but
Okay, we have to now stop because we're getting ready for a home party. I think this is also enough for us to chew on.